Have you talked to any dudes like to get like their horror stories? As far as like
their horror stories?
Yeah, like I took so out and like I was just the food nigga and she never hit me back, whatever the case may be. Or she was a bore the entire time during the date. And I just spent $300 taking her to,
Okay.
Have you heard those stories?
No, I haven't. I just heard it just...
No knowledge of the male experience. How much you want to bet she got a bunch of guys in her friend zone? Look at the smile on her face. Welcome back to Money, Marriage, and Media. I'm your host, Mike, and today we're back with We Need to Talk. We're also back looking for 1,000 subscribers. Coffee dates are cheap AF. Kevin Samuels started this conversation. Let's go ahead and get this going and play.
I feel like that advice kind of sounds like you're coaching men
No.
to like be a little guarded in when they are courting these women or pursuing women. And honestly, like if you're going to come at it from a real genuine place, there has to be a certain level of vulnerability on both parts. If you're afraid to court me or take me out on a $300 date because you feel like that's gonna make you seem like you're tap dancing for me, then just leave me alone. Because I can honestly take myself out on a $300 date.
Listen, it's the message right here. Black boy, tell me how you really feel. Because I just want to build with you.
Don't want no YouTube problems. I'm hoping that was leading somewhere and it's just taken out of context because that did not sound good. So
50-50 relationships. You brought that up.
Yeah.
Explain to me what are your thoughts on that? What are your curiosities on it? And we'll just go back and forth.
Okay.
Before she says anything, guys, I'm going to be honest with you. This whole 50-50 thing, and I've said this multiple videos, right? Today, I don't know where this came from, but all of a sudden we make 50-50 means that we're splitting the bills down the middle. That's not what 50-50 relationships. That's not how we defined it in the past. It has always been about responsibilities, right? What I mean by that is that you and your spouse divide up the responsibilities so that you're equally yoked. Right? So I don't know where this whole this money thing came from. Personal opinion, I think we focus on salary too much in this country and not enough on actually building the family unit and building community. So yeah, let's keep going though.
All right. So my thoughts on 50-50 relationships. I'm not that big a fan of it. It just seems very transactional to me. Like let's say we have a place and it's $1,000 a month for the rent and it's time to pay rent. And you really hold your hand out to me asking me for $500. Like that feels weird. Especially like if the woman gets up, she has to go to work just like you do, but then you also expect her to come home and like do laundry, wash clothes, if you have kids, take care of kids. Like it just feels weird. I don't like it.
Most relationships don't work like that though. What she's describing is the man is, he has a job and because she has a job, but yet she's still doing all the chores and taking care of the kids. Most relationships don't work like that. Most relationships, like I said, 50-50, we're splitting the responsibilities. It's my turn to cook dinner, my turn to pick the kids up from school. You working late, okay, well, I'm gonna cover, I got this, and this, or it's a long weekend of me from work, you got to take the kid, you're gonna have to watch the kids. You might have to take off a day or leave work early in order to make our schedule fit. Or, James is sick, you got to go pick him up from school. I can't do that. I got a meeting at work that I can't miss. Okay, but next week, little Kevin, it's my turn. I got to do it. So relationships are about balance. So this whole thing about, if y'all agree to split the bills, then that's fine. That's what y'all working with. The thing that gets me though is that, it tends to be women who complain about having to split the bills, but it's always interesting to me because, again, 5 years in financial services as a licensed coach, right? The average woman in this country does not make enough to make it through the end of retirement. How do I know that? Well, again, I worked in the industry. Number one. Number two, because the average man does not make enough. So literally, even in a situation, even if we were talking about just splitting the bills, okay, well, if you can come up with a financial plan of how you split your bills, then you should be able to come up with a financial plan for where's all the extra money going. So if that's how y'all want to, if that's how you and your spouse work out 50-50 to where y'all splitting everything down the middle, that's fine. Just as long as you know that, okay, all this money that we're saving, we need to have some financial goals that we're meeting. Not just, you do what you want, whatever you want with your money, and I'm going to do whatever I want with my money. If you're going to do it like that, then, you basically, you are roommates at that point. Because remember, marriage is about coming together, and we're going to move as a family unit. So let's keep going. I'm probably rambling at this point. I'm way off track. They probably ain't even going in that direction, but it's
Okay, let me play God's advocate for a second.
God's advocate. What?
In our community, women have always had to work.
Mm-hmm.
Whether it was, working as maids for some rich white family or now working in corporate America, women have always had to work. And Black men haven't had the luxury to realize the American dream like our white counterparts. So in some sense, it's always been 50-50. Maybe not monetarily, but it's always been both parties have had to contribute. And I think right now,
finally, somebody addressed it. Man, it's like you watch all these YouTube videos. No one ever wants to address the fact that, no, 50-50 is about responsibilities. I got to work long hours. You don't. Okay, well, that means that the majority of the household duties will fall on you. It's the same situation when it's reversed, but we never want to talk about that situation, though, right? That's another video, though. Let's go.
One salary it's gonna be hard to make it work with kids.
No, I'm not saying 0 and 100 either.
Okay.
I'm not saying that.
So what is the percentage you would be comfortable
I
with?
can't come up with and see, that feels weird too. So we're gonna start a relationship off and say, okay, 30-70, like
Absolutely.
It feels weird.
Yes,
I
you
don't
should.
have a percentage in mind per se, but I just don't agree with like it being 50-50. Like I feel like a man's role is to provide and to protect, and then a woman is supposed to nurture and love and all of that. So
providing's more than just about money, though.
I don't think you would quantify that as a percentage per se, but the man should be able to take care of certain responsibilities in the home without looking for the woman to match exactly what he's putting up. That just feels kind of tacky to me.
Okay, let's talk about it. Because I hear this a lot.
We're gonna split a Duke Energy bill.
Here's the issue I have, because I'm with you on the, like, I don't want my wife to touch anything financial, right? Because I feel like the value that she brings with everything else she does is equivalent to whatever value I bring financially.
Yeah.
But with that being said, I
Makes
think
sense.
the issue a lot of men are having is like, women still want men to take care of all the finances, but a lot of women are unwilling to take care of anything else. Or it's like, okay, I want you to bring home all the money, but I want you to also help me with the laundry. I also want you to help me with the kids. I also want you to help me with the cooking.
No, I don't agree with that either.
Okay, so that's fair.
So
Okay, she doesn't agree with it, but she doesn't have, like, I think that's as far as she's thought about it, because clearly if she'd have thought about it more, then she would have an answer for what percentage of the household bills that she would want the man to be responsible for. This is really just another example of women being ambiguous when it comes to actual numbers. I bet, I mean, there are other questions you could ask that would probably nail down exactly what type of man she's looking for, how much she expects him to make in order for her to be a wife. I don't think Alan's going to ask her that, because I don't think that's because those interviews never end well, particularly for the women, because it just, yeah. Let's see where this is going.
I think we kind of are on the same page a little bit. But yeah, I don't agree with that. And I also don't think everything financially should fall on the man either. Like, I don't think like his whole check should, especially like, let's say both of you are making $50,000. I wouldn't expect you to spend all of your money on everything and me to never come out of my pocket. That would be kind of crazy. I just don't think that it should just be 50-50.
So what's the percentage then?
Okay. I think that's reasonable.
I don't feel like we should go out to a restaurant and like, you know, we're splitting the tab. Like, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
That doesn't work. That works when you're dating. When you're married, y'all got the same account. You see how that doesn't make any sense? Oh, well, yeah, you pick up the check now. It's the same money. Like yeah, that. So what we have here is a woman who says that. I don't want to get into specifics about how we should break down the finances, about who should be covering what. That's fine. But she has expectations that a man is probably going to, I think it's safe to say that she will want a man to cover the majority of bills. Again, there's nothing wrong with that. But like I said before, it's about responsibilities. Alan hinted at this earlier, is that he would prefer a woman, if whoever his wife is going to be, that he takes care of the financial stuff. She takes care of the home. I think you get a lot of pushback from that, from women, because women in particular, our women in our community, see the fact that they put a lot of stock in income, because the majority of our daughters have been raised to understand, or they've been misled to believe that it's money what makes you head of the household. And the more money that I make, the more my husband will have to listen to me and do the things that I want to do. When the reality is that having leadership skills makes you a leader. And even then, good leaders know how to listen to counsel. See, I think that we're not, this is when I say we need to do a better job of raising our kids, because we're not raising our daughters to understand the power that they wield. It's not about how much money they make. That man wants you as his wife for other reasons, because number one, because he loves you, right? He's supposed to love you as a guy, he's supposed to respect you enough to respect your opinion. If he doesn't, then there should be signs of that when you're dating. And it definitely comes up when he's being vetted by the man from your family that you love and respect. So we got to we got to do a better job of raising our kids, our daughters in particular. Sons too, but we're focusing on daughters right now, because too much of what they believe is that, it's like I said, they believe that power and leadership comes from the man making money. And that's just not the case. Having a lot of money doesn't make you a good leader. Leadership skills do.
Yeah. So just the action of it.
Yeah, it's tacky.
Yeah. No, I feel, for me personally, I would think like, okay, the mortgage is on auto pay coming out of his account. Well, y'all's account.
Thank you.
The car, same deal. But like vacations, the woman get paid for the vacations. Going out to eat, small stuff. Yeah, small, especially if she's making money, right?
Yeah.
Instead of stockpiling her money to the side. Because some women are like that, where they're like, your money is our money, my money is my money.
No, that's not, no.
That's a real thing.
No. Like vacations.
It is.
Extracurricular things, like she should be able.
A couple times I ran up to some clients who I later found out had an exit fund. Yeah. Where they would hold money to the side just in case. And a lot of times the women are learning this from their moms, their aunties. And, you better get you a little something to the side, and just in case. These same women will claim that they don't want to sign a prenup either. Yeah. This is why the vetting process needs to be fixed. I'm telling you.
Able to cover that, but the responsibility like of the house, and I feel like that should fall on the man.
So you just don't like the, okay, cash at me half this.
No, like I don't want us to split a spectrum bill down to the dollar, to the penny. That's tacky.
Okay. That's fair. That's fair.
Thank you.
I don't even have an argument. That's fair.
Thank you.
Okay,
So we agreed on something.
We agree.
Okay.
We absolutely agree. So the 50-50 thing comes up a lot as far as the issue with black relationships or black love right now. What do you think are some other issues that are causing this gender war, this rift?
I feel like men don't want to court women.
They
They want to have you come over and chill at their house, or either they want to try to come to your house and chill at yours. I don't want to do that.
Okay. Why? Thought experiment. Why do you think that
I
is?
still believe in traditional.
No. Why do you think it changed?
Oh,
Like, why do you
why?
think men don't want to do that anymore?
I feel like men don't want to do that anymore because of this whole term simping.
Simping?
Simping is the new term. I think that's what y'all call it.
Yeah.
You don't want to be simps. Is that right?
That's right.
So, get you, that's right. I feel like a lot of that comes from men feeling like if they court a woman in a traditional sense, it puts them in a vulnerable position because they are going to be labeled as a simp simply because you take a woman out on a date. And let's say if you don't get what you thought you were going to get in return because of that date, now you feel like you're a simp.
Absolutely.
So rather than even putting yourself in that position of being vulnerable, you just altogether decide like, I'm not going to court you at all. Let's just come over and chill.
Yeah.
That's
Yeah. Well, I suspect something here. I suspect that this woman has very little knowledge of the male experience. It's just a suspicion. So let's see what we got.
where I think that comes from.
Have you talked to any dudes like to get like their horror stories? As far as like
Their horror stories?
yeah, like I took so out and like I was just the food nigga and she never hit me back, whatever the case may be, or she was a bore the entire time during the date, and I just spent $300 taking her to
Okay.
Have you heard those stories?
No, I haven't. I just heard it just.
No knowledge of the male experience. How much you want to bet she got a bunch of guys in her friend zone? Look at the smile on her face.
No, you know what? I have heard of someone going on a date with someone, and he did say like she was extremely quiet and she didn't have anything to talk about. Okay.
How do you feel about coffee dates?
I like them. I'm not a huge fan.
A lot of women don't like them.
No, because it's cheap.
She doesn't like it
And
either.
it's
That's the point. That's the point.
Yeah, she don't like it either.
No, I'm not opposed to them because I get it. Like, you don't want to waste your time and your money if you can tell instantly off bat that it's not going to go anywhere. So I feel like it's a great way to maybe connect and see if there's an actual chemistry there.
Facts.
Then maybe you can plan a real date. And if there's not any chemistry there, then you just leave it at coffee. Maybe you guys can connect and network in some other kind of way. It could turn into something else, but you know that it's not going to be a romantic situation. And you can save some money.
Absolutely. I mean, and I think that's the thing from a man's point of view. A lot of guys are saying women, or a lot of women have adopted like a transactional paradigm when it
Y'all
comes
have
to
that too.
relationship. Sure. So,
Yeah.
but as far as like men not wanting to court women, I think number one, if I'm not interested in becoming something serious with you, whether that's friendship or whether that's like relationship, I'm not going to try to spend my money or waste my money from my perspective on you.
That's fine.
But then the other thing too is you see the stories of women who have dudes saved in their phone as the food guy, who will go on a date with a dude and then have the dude that she actually messed with come pick her up.
Have you really seen that, or is this something you've heard about?
I've at this point in my YouTube journey, people send me stories. People email me, people DM me. Yes, these things happen.
So have you ever been labeled as the food guy?
No. My pivot too strong. My pivot way too strong. Nah.
Okay.
So the missing question here is that how many guys do you have in your friend zone? Because like I said, it's no knowledge. It's very little knowledge of the male experience. Most guys get put in the friend zone. What's happening is the real reason why is that guys don't court women anymore is because a lot of guys are waking up to the fact that she's really not that into me. Well, if she's not that into me, well, how much do I really want to invest in this situation? The other thing I find interesting is that, you know, one of the things we never talk about with courting is that, you know, most people in this country live in small towns, right? Small cities and towns. So let's say during the 60s when we were married at a rate of 80%, how many dinner dates you think people were actually going on? And wasn't that many. A date would have been, okay, well, hey, you know, think about it, you're in a small town. Well, let's go for a walk. You know, let's go to the town square, or let's go get we go to the local soda fountain and get a drink there, and we're just hanging out and talking. So I've said this before in videos that to me dating is dumb. Because what's the purpose of it? What's to get to know somebody? You get to know somebody over the phone. Before you have gone on the first, I use this philosophy myself. You know, before I met my wife when I was single, I'm not taking you out on a date unless I already know you. We get to know each other over the phone, and you're free to date. You can go on dates however many you want. I don't care, because all we doing is getting to know each other. Now, does that mean that I'm stuck in the friend zone? I'm okay with that, because it's only going to last about 30 days, 45 days at the most. And before I'm just going to, okay, this ain't going to work out, and I'm not really going to call you anymore. So, you know, sorry, but now I'm going to get to know you before we go on the first date, because I want to know if we have anything in common, or if it's just, I thought it might be something, but I don't think we're a good match, because, you know, mentally we not on the same level. You know, we not going in the same directions in life. Hey, and you know, I'm just not gonna call. I'm just not gonna call anymore. You still free to call me every time you call. I will definitely answer the phone. We can have a conversation, but I'm not going to be as pressed to call you anymore, because I need to move on and start giving attention to somebody else who I match up better with. Sounds like a crappy attitude to have, but again, what do we have invested here? We're not dating. All we've done is had a couple phone conversations. I don't know. That's just me though. Yeah. Now after I've gotten to know you, I don't have a problem taking you to dinner. Yeah, let's go get something to eat, share a meal. We go do something fun, you know. But taking random people out that I don't know on dates like that, nah, I'm not doing that. Nah.
Nah. But I can imagine. I can imagine how some men get to that point. Because the thing with me and coffee dates is, to your point, I'm trying to see if I even like you.
Yeah.
Exactly.
You know, I think the mistake a lot of men make, and I talk about this a lot, is like, we are programmed to assume that women have intrinsic value. And let's say me and you are going out, it's an opportunity for me to earn you. So I'm tap dancing for your like or your affection or whatever the case may be. Mm-hmm.
Okay.
I'm like, yeah, I bench 250 and, you know, I make this amount of money and I'm this and I'm that. Mm-hmm. As opposed to, you know, for instance, in corporate America, when you get to a certain point in your career, you know this because you're at that point in your career, it's not about me, the candidate, trying to impress you, the hiring manager. It's about, let's sit down and see if we're a good fit.
Yeah.
If what I'm bringing makes sense for this company, if what this company has to offer me makes sense for what I'm bringing.
Yeah.
And I encourage men, especially, to approach love and relationship in that same way.
To see if it's a good fit.
To see if
for
it's a
both
good
of them.
fit, exactly. Instead of trying to impress her with $300 this or flowers that, or whatever the case may be.
Mm-hmm.
I get the context now.
I can kind of agree with that, but
What part do you disagree? Talk to me.
I feel like that advice kind of sounds like you're coaching men
No.
to like be a little guarded in when they are courting these women or pursuing women.
Yeah.
And honestly, like if you're going to come at it from a real genuine place, there has to be a certain level of vulnerability on both parts. If you're afraid to court,
Vulnerability on both parts. But it's typically the guy who approaches. He has to be vulnerable to even approach you. So in that moment, when he is approaching you, when he's asking you for your contact info, what is the equal vulnerability on the woman's part? Because remember, most guys get rejected when they do that. So where is the vulnerability for the woman's part? If we're saying that both parties need to be vulnerable, it doesn't exist. Not in that context, right? Not in that moment. The woman's vulnerability comes later. But the point is that we're not equal. Within, relationship status and dating and relationships, men and women are not equal. We have different roles to play, and we bring different things to the potential relationship. So I understand let's keep going, because I think I'm starting to get a clear picture of what she's talking about.
court me or take me out on a $300 date because you feel like that's going to make you seem like you're tap dancing for me, then just leave me alone.
He just said to
Because
avoid
I honestly
that.
take myself out on a $300 date. I don't need you to do it. We're both doing it to see if there's something there. Like if it's an actual connection. If you can't even put up the money or the time or the effort to make it like a real date, then just leave me alone. Like, but I'm cool with the coffee thing too. Like you can meet and have coffee and see if there's actually something there worth now moving to the next level of maybe like a real actual official date.
That's my point.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm not opposed to expensive dates.
Okay.
I'm opposed to, because she looked good, you assuming that she's worth your time. And I think a lot of dudes who are, a lot of people say, who hurt you? A lot of the dudes who do harbor that resentment is because they had those experiences. They had the experiences of assuming the best from a woman who gave no shits about them. And they ended up wasting money. The money is inconsequential.
Yeah, because you can get it back,
You can get money back, but they ended up wasting time. They ended up wasting effort. They ended up wasting energy. And then the opportunity cost of a woman that might have actually been interested in him being overlooked because he's trying to see if shit can work with this lady.
Yeah.
So that's why for me, it's about, okay, in as much as we agree a man should earn a woman's affection, a man should make her feel comfortable, even when we talk about sex. Like, I don't owe you my vagina.
Right.
You feel what I'm saying? So similarly, a man does not owe anybody his vulnerability. It has to also be earned. I have to also feel comfortable. I have to also know that you are not a threat to me, just like the woman. But a lot of times, I think what we're taught to think is like, you'll hear women, for instance, say, I won't do this, this, and this because you're not my husband.
Yeah.
But on the flip side, women expect husband treatment from day one.
But you know why they do that though? Because like you said, the guy might have been in a position where he was doing certain things and then he got burnt in the situation. A woman, after she played that position where she might have been cooking and cleaning and doing like wifely things for a guy, and she got burnt in the situation. So moving forward, it's like, well, I'm not doing that.
Who vetted that man that burned her? You see what I'm talking? This is what I mean when I say there are certain social constructs that are broken in our community. The vetting process being one. See, when you have somebody that's vetting the men that are around you, we can reduce the scenario that she's talking about. We can reduce that because again, men are better. We're better at choosing husbands for the women in our family than the women are. Women make bad choices when it comes to spousal selection. That's why you got to have the vetting process in place. So stuff like that doesn't happen. Same thing for the men too, because believe it or not, I say this a lot, that your mother is actually, if she's, your mom is a good source for vetting a female that has questionable behaviors. Questionable behaviors. I can't remember if I said that right or not, but we have to start using the resources that are available to us. Are they perfect? No, because I just said that the vetting process is broken. But one of the reasons why it's broken is that we don't take advantage of the resources that we already have. Developing them to be better, we can do that further down the line. But we first have to start taking advantage of things that are already in place.
There for no man. I'm not cooking or cleaning for no man that's not my husband. So it's just like an endless cycle.
But
No, it's
and that's
not.
the thing. I think the next guy should be empathetic.
It's not an endless cycle, because we've seen this happen multiple times with different women all across YouTube. The majority of women would prefer the man's role be static while she gets to pick and choose when she wants to be feminine or take on wifely duties. I'm not going to knock women for that, because that's just the way they're looking out for themselves. But the problem comes in is that if a man uses those same standards, if women are doing that, men, I would suggest you do that too. I think that you should roll out those benefits. How much? Let's finish this up and I'll get to it in the summary.
Should be like, okay, I see where you're coming from. I need to be patient with you, take it slow with you, this, and that. We deserve that empathy too, right?
We all deserve empathy. And I personally feel like if you're a woman and you're going out with a guy, he's taking you out on dates, you kind of know if you actually like that guy, I would say by date 3. So if you feel like there's no connection here, I don't really like this guy like that, you should probably let him know. That way he's not, like, don't have some guy being the food guy for you. If after date 3, if I feel like there's nothing there, we can actually stop. I'll probably let you know, like, I don't really feel a connection.
Yeah.
And I'm not going to.
Okay. So, a couple things here. That whole date 3 thing, yeah, I didn't do that. I'm not going on a 3rd date. I'll know by the end of date 2. Maybe even the 1st date. Because like I said, I've invested a lot of time in getting to know a woman over the phone before we go on that 1st date. So, you know, and all of a sudden, we always hear this. I'm starting to wonder, do people have phone conversations in between the dates? Like, I don't know. But then again, you know, people tell you that the purpose of dating, well, I should only get to know you when we're on the dates. Nah, I'm not doing that. No, we can get to know each other over the phone. We can have plenty of phone conversations in between the 1st and 2nd date. So if I think there's something viable here, then I will ask you out on a 3rd date. If not, hey, you know what? Yeah, this is probably not going to work out. You know, I'm busy. I got my life is starting to pick up. I got a lot of stuff going on. So, you know, I think we might need to back off a little bit and, you know, go from there. But I think also that there was another thing that I wanted to address in this video about it's about the way we raise our children. I can't even remember what it was. But look, guys, this is a great example of what we need to talk. What happens on this channel is that we need to start having one-on-one conversations like this so that we can actually make some headway. Because being on a panel is cool, because I get it, because you get like different perspectives all in at the same time. But most of the time when you see people coming up on these panels, they're not going to change their mind. I think that becomes an actual possibility if there's a one-on-one conversation, because then we can talk about things. You can get more out of the person. Like this young lady here, she has very little knowledge about the male experience. But I think after this conversation with Alan, and I'm sure this is going to have multiple parts, I think she will have learned a thing or two, which is always going to be a benefit. We need more conversations happening like this. But guys, that's it for this one. I'm going to say goes to the next time. Peace.